Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel. So we are only a few days away from 0.5 in Path of Exile 2 and I just finished with my test run testing Grenades, Mercenary and more specifically in this case a Witchhunter. This archetype saw no changes in the patch notes whatsoever, so Grenades are absolutely untouched. If anything, it will get buffed because of the new crossbow base type, which will specialize in the grenade archetype. Hopefully we can get like extra modifiers and get like percentage chance to detonate an additional time with grenade damage or something like that. So this archetype is definitely in the right spot currently. I'm not saying that this will be the best and favor of the league start. However, it is an extremely strong starter. Now, during the showcase, what you saw was done everything with this equipment, what we have here. So nothing crazy. Everything is literally life and resist with the exception of some spirit on the chest piece and the amulet. This video will specifically cover day 1 and 2 because I think as the league goes on, you will have access to more and more currency and you can actually fine-tune this build to your liking. As I said, we have no information regarding the new weapon type. However, even with just random life and resist gear and some essence crafting on your crossbow, you will be able to push into the tier 15s without an issue. Alright, let me quickly go over the gear that you actually want to focus on. So you definitely want a crossbow archetype or the new base type with an additional projectiles for your grenades. Now, if you check, this crossbow is item level 68, so there is an actual upgrade to this later on. The stats are just fully random. Like, we have tier 3 lightning damage, we have tier 3 accuracy fizz, and I have the +5 level to all skills. That's basically it. The rest of the stats are not really important. When it comes to your crossbow, you definitely want to have lightning damage, a huge source of lightning damage in your crossbow, because that will allow you to actually shock enemies, which is a nice damage multiplier. Besides that, you want as much percentage physical damage on your crossbow as you can, and preferably you want to have early on, day 1 to 2, you want to have mana as Fizz Leech. This will allow you to circumvent some of the frustration for your mana issues early on. Now you can get a way better crossbow with some investment. You preferably want to have like either grenade damage, or you want to have a chance for your grenades to explode additional times with the Amunamu Abysscraft. However, as I said, we are trying to mimic a league start scenario, so this is like a 3-stat crossbow that will carry you from tier 1 to tier 15 without an issue. For the gloves, we want as much lightning damage to attacks as we can get. We want life, we want some resist, or whatever stats that we are needing. Preferably this is in a full armor base, there is nothing else to it. For the belt, again, we want resist, life, armor if you can get, and that's pretty much it. For the boots, again, movement speed, armor, life, some resist, nothing crazy. Same with the chest piece. The only exception that you want to have spirit on your chest piece so we can run 2 auras. For the rings, again, same thing. If you can get lightning damage to attacks, really good. Other than that, life and some stats that you actually need. For the nether ring, same thing, like nothing crazy. As I said, this is a league start gear. Like, there is nothing that you cannot acquire day 1 or day 2 into the league. And the same applies to our amulet and our helm as well. We want as much armor as we can get. Now, the main reason why we are only getting high armor bases is because I think it's way easier for you on day 1 or day 2 to get like high armor. If we combine high armor with our passive tempered defenses, we can get this armor to apply to elemental damage. I think it's way more reliable than having like an armor evasion. Even though armor and evasion bases are getting buffed, I think day 1, the best bet for you is to actually have as much armor as you can get. And on day 2 to 3, you can start focusing on getting armor and evasion bases. And if you combine the high armor and evasion bases with the social reward, you will actually have like a nice 6 to 8,000 sorcery ward, which is absolutely correct. It will give you a bunch of survivability. Day one, when you wanna focus on pushing as much as you can with like low budget gear, I think armor is just excess in that. When it comes to the skills, this is really important. Our main damaging ability is Explosive Grenade. Now Explosive Grenade is just absolutely bonkers when it comes to damage. So if we shoot out, we are shooting 4 projectiles. We have chance for additional detonation from the skill itself and from our passive tree. Now with this, we wanna run payload. As I said, 50% chance to activate a second time. And we have additional chance on our skill tree. We have multi-shot, so we can get additional 2 projectiles. Absolutely insane damage, especially since they can overlap. We have deliberation. We have magnified area for even more chance for your grenades to overlap, and we have elemental armament. You preferably want to get payload as your 4th support ability, because with payload your damage will skyrocket, yeah. But during the campaign progression, it doesn't really need it, because you will just one-shot the bosses no matter what. We are running Flash Grenade as well. It's a low cooldown, high stunning ability. It is really good and really crucial for you to actually use this during mapping. Since we don't have that much defenses on like a day 1 scenario, Flash Grenade will carry us super hard. 1 Flash Grenade, if you throw it out, it will stun everything in its path. 2 Flash Grenades, if you throw it on bosses, it will stun bosses. So this is something that you actually want to get. And it's also a nice damaging ability during our campaign progression. It can literally kill trash mobs with just Flash Grenade. And as I said, it has a low cooldown, really good. So with Flash Grenade, we want multi-shot, we want stun 3. And we want magnified area. Now magnified area, you can interchange it with other stuff. As you can clearly see, I only have 3 supports for Flash Grenade. I'm missing 2. Also keep in mind, all of these gems are like level 18, level 17. So the damage and the damage on this build can easily quadruple with some investment. So this is really just trying to mimic a League Star. For our second spirit gem, we want to have Mirage Archer with Explosive Grenade, with multi-shot, payload, elemental ornament, and deliberation. You are basically mimicking your own Explosive Grenade. Now, Mirage Archer will spawn whenever you are dodging. You will dodge quite a lot. And this Mirage Archer will shoot out Explosive Grenades for you, which can deal like an actual significant damage. It will help you with your clear tremendously. It will help you on bosses. It will help you proccing your gas grenade more often. So overall, Mirage Archer is a really good buff that you want to keep up. Now, second thing, Eternal Rage. This will allow you to actually cap your rage all the time. So you will have maximum rage, right? And rage grants us 1% more attack damage per 1 rage, yeah? So if we check, we have 44 rage, and this permanent rage will give us 44% more attack damage, which is absolutely crazy. It's free. Moving on, we have Gas Grenade. Now, Gas Grenade is a skill that will create these gas clouds. Now, these gas clouds can be actually exploded. So if we check, that was the explosion. So with Gas Grenade, we are running multi-shot, deliberation, magnified area, nova projectiles, and payload. Now, payload itself, so there is a cap, a limit of how much gas grenades you can actually have active one time, and that would be 6. So we are shooting at 4, right? And it is, so if I shoot it one more time, it will basically make the other clouds disappear. However, when an enemy is ignited and we are igniting enemies with our skills, the gas grenade will just instantly blow up, right? And with payload, if the gas grenades are triggering twice, as you can see, it will actually have the detonation of the gas clouds going off, because when the gas grenade first applies, on an ignited enemy, it will just instantly explode. And you can have an additional detonation with additional damage supporting that. So gas grenade itself, it's really good for like filler damage basically, right? Moving on, we have oil grenade. Now oil grenade is allowing us to actually have exposure on enemies. Exposure is gonna give us more damage basically. So oil grenade, we want persistent ground, potent exposure, and magnified area. There was definitely a broken interaction with oil grenade in 0.4 with the ignite, however, that will get fixed. We don't care about that. We don't really care about the ignite damage. We want to use oil grenade as our exposure applicator basically. So for us, oil grenade is still really good. And for our clear, we are basically having cluster grenade. Now we are running cluster grenade with multi-shot, with elemental ornament, magnified area, cooldown recovery, and Nova projectiles. Now, if we check the cluster grenade, the extra additional projectiles from the cluster grenades will apply to the actual sharpeners. It will apply to the mini grenades as well. So having more projectiles on cluster grenade is really crucial. We are running Nova projectiles as well. It's, as I said, it's a nice way to actually have like some coverage, because if you just shoot out 2 projectiles, it basically covers your whole screen, right? The damage is not that crazy. However, during mapping, it's more than enough, and it can clear out white to blue packs quite easily. And for res, you want to throw in 1 explosive grenade, and that's pretty much it. And lastly, we are running rapid shot. Now, if the new base type for the grenades is like strong enough, then you won't have this. You probably will just be fine without this. However, for us, rapid shot is currently really good. So rapid shot is building up heat basically. So with heat, we are getting more damage, because if we check, consumes 15 heat if possible to gain 50% of damage as fire, right? So if you check, we have 32k damage currently. We build up 15 heat, almost 50k, right? A really nice increase. And we are getting this heat with rapid shot. So if you have enough heat, your grenades will consume this heat. So if you check, like these grenades are glowing like bright yellow, right? You can see that they are glowing. That means that the skill used heat, and it's a really nice damage increase. You can preload this on bosses or before bosses basically, and during your mapping, if you encounter like an abyss or something like that, you know that you will have a bunch of res around you. You can just pre-stack it, and like it's a really nice way to actually get more damage in the build for free basically. As for our passive tree, now everything that you saw in the intro was done with like 2 nodes, right? So it's basically Witchbane and No Mercy. Now this is giving us 40% more damage based on the enemy's missing concentration. Now 90% of the time, whenever you are shooting something with a grenade, it will instantly have their concentration broken, which is granting you 40% more damage. So this is a insanely big damage multiplier, and I would recommend you to actually get this first thing. And after your 3rd and 4th essential, you have a few options, right? You can go with Sorcery Ward. Now Sorcery Ward will have your effective HP really high, and I think it is reasonable, or the best way to actually go about this, to have Sorcery Ward. But if you don't want that, we can actually have more coverage with Zealous Inquisition, or you can have Culling Strike with Decimating Strike. Now, in my personal opinion, I would go, and I will go with Sorcery Ward and Ceremonial Abolition, because I think having like a easier experience, let's just say, or more safe experience is the way to go, especially early on. And once you have some currency accumulated, and you can actually transition into a build that is like busted, yeah, then you can respec and take something else if you can figure out your EHP situation more easily. However, I think having 40% damage on like your 2nd Ascendancy during campaign that is busted. Like that is really, really good. And after that, we want to go sorcery ward. Now, sorcery ward, if I were to actually get it now with the armor that I have, which is 7.5, and get the nodes, it will decrease our armor and so on and so forth. I think I would have like 1.5 to 2k sorcery ward currently, which is basically my life pool at this point. So I would definitely go with sorcery ward for third and fourth. And once you have sorcery ward, you can start focusing on armor and evasion bases and focus your skill tree around more of the combination of the two. However, as I said, if you want to like push really hard day one, I think armor is still the best choice, right? Right, so for the passive skill tree, now this is basically mostly damage, right? So I started investing into the armor at the late level 80s, right? Before that, you definitely want to have all the grenade stuff that you can actually get here. There is nothing to really talk about the skill tree here. As I said, it's mostly damage, right? We want to get temper defenses as soon as possible, basically. So whenever you start mapping, you want to put during your leveling, you will already be in the bottom side of the skill tree. So getting temper defenses is really good early on, and having the max rage after your eternal reach comes online is also really good. But besides that, it's basically just damage and additional projectiles. Like the last few points I put into the armor, and yeah, I feel pretty comfortable about this. And yeah, that pretty much covers everything. I think I will make a separate video for the leveling in its entirety, because leveling with this build is super smooth. You are literally one-shotting bosses, the egg bosses included. It's it's just super fun, yeah. Where there are some key things that you wanna look out for during your campaign leveling. Mainly, you have like specific breakpoints where you can get like good weapon upgrades that will carry you through acts, basically. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I see you in the next one.